Hello everyone, this is...
Hey guys, I'm Kyle from Out of Spec. Thanks for letting me join your channel.
Go subscribe, amazing YouTube channel. He's here from the States, here in Germany, here in Munich, and he was at the IAA, the motor show that I was there for one day, and you're here for 2 weeks?
Yeah, roughly two weeks and a bit.
Amazing. Yep. Look what he has. He has from Volkswagen a press car, the new Id.3 facelift. We just did a video with him comparing my old, extremely old Id.3 and the new facelift, which I already did, but he has to do it, of course, himself. And what I want to talk to him about is Id.3 not available in the States. Id.4, is Id.5 available in the States?
Nope, we only get 4 in Buzz.
Huh. And I want to talk to him about why. Why is the Id.3 not there? Go answer.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wish I had a simple answer. I think we should first start off with, Id.3 was the first ID car. We talked about it quite a bit in the US, of course, and this was, among electric vehicle news people, this was the whole okay, this is Volkswagen. And then we found out we're not getting it. And so they said you can get Id.4, which we do have Id.4, and they're actually really popular. At least in my town, especially in Colorado, Id.4s are everywhere. So you would think, why don't they bring the cooler, smaller hatchback? And I think it first starts, if we go back to normal, we never got the Polo in the US, so we didn't have this one. And we had the Mark 7 Golf, but they were sitting on dealer lots forever. I remember our local dealer had a manual transmission 1.6, or was it when they put the 1.5 in it? Either way, TSI Golf sitting on the lot, and it was there for over a year. It sat there unloved, no one looked at it for over a year, and all the guys at the Volkswagen dealer would just drive it because it was the only manual they had. And so the car enthusiasts really loved it. And so I think looking at the Golf sales and the Golf, I would say, purchaser, most people were going for Tiguan. Because space is not so much of a concern in the US, it was a relatively similarly priced car. Tiguan's fairly inexpensive in the US, and especially now the Taos is very inexpensive in the US. I don't think you guys get the Taos here.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a T-Roc, if you will, I think.
I've seen it, yeah.
So many models. But everyone was just going for the SUV versions. So Volkswagen said no more Golf in the US, and everyone freaked out. And but they weren't buying them anyway. So they decided to bring the GTI and the R only for the 8th generation. And what's cool about that one is we actually still get the manual transmission in the Golf R, where Europe does not get it. We're the only market. So there's this big enthusiast base in the US, but more performance hatchback enthusiast base, with efficiency and electric enthusiast base wanting a hatchback versus a similarly priced SUV, just the way the numbers would have worked. I don't think that Volkswagen product planners expected enough volume on this car. I had also heard some other rumblings, technical limitations,
really,
where this wouldn't work in the US, mostly related to crash performance. We have, of course, different crash tests that you guys have to go through. And I can't remember if it was the pedestrian, but it was something to do with the car would require a different front end. Really? And it was never designed in mind with this to be a global vehicle.
Huh. Why do you think the Golf is a car that is not suitable for the States? Does the States need a pickup truck or an SUV? Does it have to be that?
I mean, I've been saying a lot, we need like an F-350 dually to get to the grocery store because, but in Europe, it's cool coming here because having a small car is so useful because you can fit it into a parking garage, you can get it into a little space, like the size of your spaces are tiny. In the US, it makes no difference to me if I take an Escalade or my smart car to the grocery store. My experience as a driver is the same. I mean, there are some cities, of course, where it's nice to have a small car, but this is very much the minority. So the need for this, and I really don't think it's even that much smaller than Id.4 in terms of footprint.
No.
It wouldn't be that big. So the people who want the hatchbacks like this and the little wagons, there is a group. There's an audience who wants a small hatchback that's not an SUV, that's a little bit better handling, that's a little bit more fun and is trendy and cool like this. It's just a very loud group. So you see them in the comments on YouTube all the time, and that's me. I'm like, bring it to America. If you look at our ID.2 GTI video, the first 500 comments are, bring it, we want it. You know what, they are going to bring it. I think they will. Okay. I was talking to everyone, they're like, okay, we kind of get it. We're going to work on it. But I don't think they're going to expect to sell that many of them.
Huh. Really?
Yeah. So what's your impression as to why it doesn't come to the US? Have you heard any rumblings here?
Well, I've lived in Canada for 6 months. My wife is Canadian, and we tried it there and failed.
Okay. Too cold, or what happened?
It was just not our thing work-wise.
Yeah, sure.
And we didn't fit there. She was living here for a year, and we moved back there, and instantly she said, this is not my home. Germany is my home.
Sure.
And then we both said that, and 3 months later, we planned of going back.
Wow, okay.
And since then, we're here and we're happy. And
another facelift one pulling in, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, Munich.
And
that's
this is that's a customer car.
Yeah, ripping it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, very good.
But does she have someone with her?
I think a friend in the Mazda.
Okay. When I seen cars in Canada, and we were living in Ottawa, there was barely a car that was normal sized. It was all gigantic SUVs and pickup trucks and loud V8s. In the house, you could see everything. Yeah, freedom. And you could see everything, hear everything in the house when someone just drove 20 miles per hour, nothing. And I was like...
But you know what's interesting is the American viewpoint on Canada, especially in, maybe not so much in Ottawa, but in Toronto and in Montreal, is closer to like a European hatchback size car. So if you come down to the US, where I live just on the border of Wyoming, and we're in Colorado, of course, or if you go down to Texas, big cars are a thing, and no one is asking for a smaller car. There is a loud minority that does want a small hatchback, something fun. Again, I drive my little electric smart car around everywhere. I'm that guy. But they just don't do big numbers. And the ID.4 is a close enough experience where I think if Volkswagen would have had to spend serious money re-engineering this ID.3, I think they made the right decision not to bring it to the US.
Okay. Because I get this question all the time.
Same.
On the comments. Why not an ID.3 here? But again, what Volkswagen told me about this was, we're deciding this, but we asked the North American market, do you think we can sell this amount of cars? Only, I don't know the number, but this number of cars we have to sell, otherwise we don't make a profit. Do you think you can sell this car? North American market said no. That's why no.
Yep, pretty much. This is the answer.
Pretty much what it is.
So every company has, big company like this has product planners in Germany that spec the entire car, and then they go to the individual markets and say, okay, what options do you want? How do you want to package it? Because, for example, your Pro and Pro S meant battery size here, but in the US it meant interior trim. It never had any relation to do with battery size.
About that?
No. No one even knows what a battery size is in America. We're years away from understanding these things.
Well, you see that with Tesla, they don't even mention it.
Yeah, they don't mention it.
This is the range. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know what power it has and how much horsepower and battery capacity. You plug it in and you're charging.
And that annoys you and me, but I think to like my mom, she doesn't care. She just wants to know how far it goes, and it works in the US because if you go up to a random car driver, even a random electric car driver, they may not understand the concept of kilowatt hour. And so it's just a different, versus here in Germany, I think a lot of people are involved with the automotive industry.
Nerds.
Yeah. You have more nerds, more engineers. Yeah. You can go up to someone, random person, say, what's the battery pack size in your car? And they will roughly know it. This is not a thing in the US.
This was a big thing in the beginning of the ID.3, what we just talked about. So 3-4 months before I received the ID.3, I had a meeting with Volkswagen, and they said, we're gonna make a Facebook group for the owners. What do you think they will talk about? I said, technical stuff. What they're charging, what was their consumption, the range they got, all of this. And they said, really? Don't they want to post pictures of them in the mountain and on a trip? I said, no, they're just going to talk. Electric car drivers right now are nerds.
Yes.
Right now, in 10 years, maybe not, but right now they're nerds. They're going to ask, how do I get the travel assist to work this way? How can I have the peak charging, the range that the other guy had? How do you get this low consumption? I'm going to do hypermiling. I don't know, all of these words, it's all going to be about that. And they were Yeah, sure.
They just did not understand this.
They heard me, but they didn't believe me. Then it started. Nobody posted a picture. My car is in the lot at the dealer. I'm gonna get it soon. But nobody talked about, oh, look at this nice picture, and I don't know. It was all about technical things.
Right. It was okay.
Everything.
My car's only getting 40 kilowatts. Why? Well, it's because you're at 70% and your battery's frozen, or whatever it is. So yeah, totally.
And when I got the car, we're now on a different level here. We are 3 years from where we started from. In the beginning. In the cockpit view, it didn't show state of charge, only from 10%.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And when you were charging, it didn't show the kilowatt. It showed kilometers of range per minute.
Yeah, and
per
us
hour.
It was miles per hour of charging.
Exactly.
This was so stupid back then.
I told them that right away when I saw the car the first time. You have to change it. Explanation I got was no, because we want the normal driver who drives the Golf get into the car and understand it. And if he says state of charge, he doesn't know what that means. He wants range. And when he's charging, he doesn't need the kilowatt. He wants range per minute. And everything changed. And now they have it in there.
Yeah, but Ford is doing this
right.
too. So Ford has this problem where the Mustang Mach-E and the F-150 won't tell you charging speed.
Really?
But then, for us, also a lot of charger screens are dead. Like you have this problem with Ionity sometimes. And so you have no idea how fast your car is charging. And so you either have to have an OBD dongle or like calculate percent over time. It's really dumb. So yes, automakers, kilowatt of charging speed and state of charge of all times.
And it's not hard. It's not something extraordinary. Yeah. It is something that really happens.
And General Motors won't tell you state of charge.
So Opel and everything, the Ampera E back in the day.
Yeah, it was just range. And so you'd have to count the ticks on the display.
Yeah.
They still do this even with the Lyric. Yeah. You have to use the voice assistant to ask how much you get, and then sometimes she'll tell you. It's a long story.
And it's so funny, I was at the ID.4 launch event in Wolfsburg, and we had dinner. A weird dinner because it was COVID time.
Okay.
So we had distance thing with the e-mobility boss of Volkswagen.
Okay. Yeah.
He's now even higher. Don't ask me about the name. He has no hair.
Okay.
That's all I remember.
Bald guy responsible for electric stuff.
And he knew everything.
Okay.
He had knowledge. He knew everything. It wasn't like, we sell this car. That's all I need to know. No, he knew everything. And I asked him, why doesn't it show kilowatt charging? And he told me that explanation, the driver doesn't want that. And I said, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, we're totally wrong.
It's gonna change. I even told Volkswagen it should have a nerd page with temperature of the battery and I don't know, RPMs of the motor. Stuff that nobody cares usually.
Yep.
But stuff that people are interested. But they told me, do you know how much it costs to have an extra page there with a button?
Sure, for them, a lot of money.
At least €1 million for one page.
Kidding me? That's insane.
Because all the steps it has to go through, all the people design, that the numbers are correct, how you get there, people that have to think about how you get there, is it in the way, it shouldn't be there right away, so people get confused. All of this, the whole thing, they said, minimum €1 million for one little page that shows 5 points of data.
This is such a disadvantage. Meanwhile, Rivian, for an example, is this electric truck maker for those who may not follow the US stuff. They really cool trucks. We asked the same thing and they literally said, okay, and in the next software update, we get this.
It's easy done.
Yeah.
They know how to do it. The thing is, to bring it to the customer, it has to go through so many steps, and they think not that we forget something. Who cares if you forget something? Then you fix it a week later with the next update. Just bring it.
Yep.
And they don't think that way. They think, no, let's wait. And then it's 9 months. And then, the customer now wants something different. Everything has changed in the 9 months.
This is just a very Volkswagen and BMW and Mercedes. They're all work this way as well. It's just very slow. So back to your original topic. If the ID.3 came to the US, would it sell very well? I think you would see an initial sales boost. You would have a lot of people interested.
The fans?
Yep, fans for maybe 6 months, and then nothing.
Yeah, then it's not worth for them.
It's not worth it. But the ID.2 GTI, because I think the ID.3 isn't sporty enough to justify the hot hatch.
So it has to be sporty.
I think small and sporty, that's the magic.
Oh.
And I think Volkswagen North America has figured this out too, because again, we get R and GTI, but we don't get the standard one. Because if you're already going to spend less money and get a small car, you know, the way that our financing works and leasing works, it's like if you add an extra $5,000, it doesn't add that much more to the payment. So, and anyone buying a small car isn't doing the normal thing and buying an SUV. They're interested in cars. They want the sporty one, just make it sporty. So ID.2 GTI, when that comes, hopefully it comes to the US. It sounds like they want it. I think it'll do really well.
No, I get it. I get it. That's just how it is. And I'm glad, because it gives me a bit of an advantage. The same as you have big advantage, everything according with Tesla.
Yeah, sure,
So,
of course.
Everything is there 6-9 months
Except you
earlier.
guys got the refresh before we did.
That's weird.
It is the first time Tesla's
Just because
ever
of
launched
the show,
it.
you think?
No, I think it's because of the Shanghai factory. And we only get Fremont cars. And I don't think they wanted to do 2 factories at the same time.
What do you think about that in general? Just your opinion, Chinese build or American build?
I mean, to me personally, it makes no difference.
Okay.
But in the U.S., no one would want a Chinese-built Tesla.
Okay.
I mean, again, there's a loud minority that says it doesn't matter what country it comes from. Honestly, we're starting to see, especially because we've been reviewing NIO and BYD, the comments on the Chinese cars. There is a large group of people that do not want, and then I'm like, well, what device did you make this on? You know, make this comment on. But it's true, it's happening, whether we like it or dislike it. There is becoming this sort of anti-Chinese built thing, and the US cars, people like driving an American car built in America, which is Tesla.
I mean, I have nothing against China, and I get it why they do this, but I'm totally honest. If I can buy a car for a similar price that's built in the country that I live in to support jobs here, I do that.
Yeah, if I had 2 cars next to each other here in Germany, I would choose a Berlin Model Y, because if I lived here, you would want to support those people.
Exactly.
I totally get it.
And that's it.
As a reviewer, the cars are pretty much the same. It makes no difference to me.
It makes no difference. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So, for example, that Polestar is building in China. Yeah, that happens. Tesla is building in China.
Yeah. I own a China-built Polestar, and I never think about it. Yeah, although I'd like to tell people, they're like, oh, is that the Swedish thing? I'm like, no, it's built in China. And they go, why would you buy that?
Why would you? Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've heard the perspective of an American about the ID.3. Very, very interesting.
I am an ID.3 enthusiast,
Aw,
so I don't know if I don't represent the whole country, of course.
Yes, you do.
Bring it to the US, Volkswagen. Find a way. Even if it's just the GTX, if they want the sporty one, maybe that could work.
I don't think it will be that sporty.
I don't think it'll be that sporty either. They just need to put a freaking juicy powertrain in this thing. Big brakes, sell an ID.3R. It's all we want.
You've seen the
concept.
Yeah,
they said I can go drive it. You should come with me.
When?
I don't know. October, I think.
I want to drive this.
Okay, let's go.
I asked them, can I drive, can I be in there and someone is driving at least, and then now we have to think about it.
Okay, because they let Automotor in Sport or Auto Build, one of the big ones, drive it.
Yeah, Auto Build is big.
Yeah, so
Both
I think if we can go together, let's do it.
Okay.
Maybe another video coming in the
You've
future.
seen it here?
Volkswagen, don't let me down. We have to drive it. I hope that guy didn't have too many drinks in him when I asked him.
But that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That looks interesting, and it's unusual for them.
Yes, it was so spicy. And it was actually looked pretty production ready, so.
Yeah, because I asked them, why not a 300 kilowatt ID.3? And they said, no, Volkswagen is for this, Cupra is for sporty.
Okay, then make that one sporty. And I didn't.
Okay. Yeah. But that's it. Thanks, Carl, again.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Check out his channel, Out of Spec Reviews. Subscribe. Come on, let's do this.
See you guys.
Bye.